We have a wonderful podcast, a journey into the minds of strange people doing also strange things. I'm James. On each episode of this podcast, we're putting our finger on the pulse of society, the psyche of society, and we're trying to understand people, their behavior, what motivates them to do what they do. And today, I guess you'll be happy to know that he's free. India freed him, and we're all sort of just happy to, I don't really like to get into sort of like geopolitics and things like that, but I think we're all sort of just happy to see that after 8 months in police custody, India has decided to free the pigeon that they accused of spying for China. So no doubt his family is excited about that news. Great news. He was caught at the financial capital Mumbai with messages written in Chinese-like script on its wings. I saw many years ago there was a similar case where a pigeon had like bags of pills taped to it, and some government fished him out of the sky with a net. But all I'm wondering is, what type of high-tech Area 52 technology are we working with that's not on the consumer market that enables them to see? First of all, we're tracking birds. I feel like that's where we start. First of all, they're tracking birds, I guess. 2024, where are our taxpayer dollars going? Bird tracking, obviously, for national security reasons. Yeah, that's right. They found a little backpack on this pigeon or bird, and it was filled with pills, but it was a little grey backpack that it blended in with him. You wouldn't notice that it was there. But how are they realizing these things? And because who in their right mind goes, yeah, bird with a backpack. Wait a minute. But get him, get the net. Or even in this case, Chinese-like script written on its wings. And the picture will be on the video version. Welcome, youtube.com/at Wonderful. Thank you so much for watching these episodes. You'll see the picture of the splayed out wings and these sort of like glyph-looking things that are written on them. It's very strange. Don't know how anyone would have noticed that, let alone tracked down that specific bird to, I guess, reprimand him, keep him in police custody. He was chained, his little wings chained to the desk, the one light in the room shining down. We know you did it. We know you stole the secrets of the Indian government. Chinese spy. We see right through your pigeony disguise. Initially, the police had registered a case of spying against the bird, but after completing their inquiry, they dropped the charge. 8-month-long inquiry, I guess, as well. So not just, that's a Chinese spy. Yeah, let's have a look into that. Oh, just a bird with some scrawlings on his wings. No Chinese spy here. 8 months. 8 months it took for that to unfold. Okay. The unnamed bird was held under lock and key at a city hospital while police carried out an investigation. Look, he's injured, so we'll keep him at the hospital. The bird? Yes. You mean we'd take him to a vet? Absolutely not. We're currently operating under the idea that this is actually a very small man posing as a pigeon. So, obviously, man, human, gonna need a regular hospital. Keep him under lock and key in this shoebox. We put him in a shoebox, we put a couple holes in there, and then we just put a big stack of papers on top. Keep the lid down. That probe took an astonishing 8 months, the India Office of the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals said in a Thursday statement. So Peter's involved. Peter's involved now. Local media reports said the bird fluttered away in good health. At what? His big release? What, did you do a press release for it? We've under an 8-month investigation. That's right, 8 whole months of taxpayer dollars funding our inquiry into whether or not this was a Chinese spy. This pigeon, we've concluded, not a Chinese spy. And obviously we will be releasing him now. Pulls it out of his coat pocket. Like that scene from Always Sunny. But Charlie's pigeon was dead, so not exactly that one. Peter India said police had granted, quote, formal permission for the hospital to release the pigeon on Wednesday. Man, you think to yourself, when you get older, you figure it out. You get a bit older, you realize, you're not really figuring it out too much. And then you think, you know what? At least there are professionals, heads of their field, captains of industry. They know what they're doing. The taxpayer dollars, or, if it's private business, it's being funneled in. Those people, they know what they're doing. And then you realize that border security, people at hospitals, the police, all of these, key fundamental pillars to society are bothering themselves with the idea that a bird is a Chinese spy. I don't know if there's a history of Chinese spies being pigeons, in which case, well, I'll tell you what, egg on my face. Egg on my face if there is. But it just feels like sometimes you go, oh, okay. So there's a lot of people either just faking like they know what they're doing, or maybe dummos. Maybe some real dummos have found a way to sort of like get up the ladder. You know what I mean? Funnily enough, actually, there was this study forever ago, I've read it many years ago, that was talking about how people advance, particularly in white collar, like corporate jobs, and the people who then go on to like get management positions and C-suite positions and things like that. And the breakdown was basically, the takeaway is that you think that being really good at your job, hard work, dedication, that those things are going to see you advance through your career. Turns out those can be good, although they're statistically less likely to contribute to your success. The thing that's more likely going to do it, just relationships. Being friends with the higher ups. Yeah, let's let that sink in. And then we come back to this particular case where we see that maybe some chums got put into certain positions. 8-month-long investigation into a pigeon being a Chinese spy. Okay. Local media reports said the bird flooded away in good health. Who's to know? The pigeon is the latest of several detained by Indian authorities on suspicion of espionage. The one of several pigeons, or one of several living things detained under the suspicion of espionage? Hard to tell. Border security officers took a pigeon into custody in 2016 after it was found carrying a threatening message to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, close to India's border with arch rival Pakistan. So they're using the birds. So egg is on my face. They are using the birds, it seems like. Or just, maybe it did say it's a pigeon, so do we know how much pigeons are sort of like showcasing their political leanings? Because in this case, apparently one of them was very anti-Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So, is that right wing? Is that left wing? Should we be worried about, sort of like a pigeon influx to the polls? What's that going to do for votes? All important things to consider in 2024. Another pigeon was held under armed guard in 2010 after it was found in the same region with a ring around its foot and a Pakistani phone number and address stamped on its body in red ink. So that's just some guy's bird. That's what that is. Yeah, where is he? He's in there. 3 guards on him, all got their guns drawn. Yeah, we're not taking any fucking chances with this guy. He's got a very fancy little bracelet on his ankle and a person's name and phone number and address. Well, you know where he lives then. So just send someone around there. Just wondering if, let's just see here what was his name was. Squawks McGurr. That was printed on it. Does he live? He does live here. He does live here. Okay, good. Yeah, no, we've got a couple of armed guards. Got him under lock and key at the moment. Yeah, sort of having a chat with him about sort of espionage, things like that. So officials in that case directed that no one should be allowed to visit the pigeon, which police said may have been on a special mission of spying. So it seems as though India has great fear of spy pigeons. And again, you know, that could be an issue that they're dealing with. And I'm just showing my ignorance, you know, going, oh yeah, spy pigeons. And they're like, don't joke. A significant portion of our securities budget goes to spy pigeons. Pigeon espionage, very serious thing for us. I mean, hey, we're all dealing with our own things, right? You know, man, India's going to be a birdless sky soon. So paranoid of the birds. Maybe they just recently saw Hitchcock's The Birds and they're like, I'm not fucking taking any chances. You see that one break? A whole bunch of them, they were waiting for her while she was inside the phone booth. By the way, saw that movie when I was a kid. I thought it was terrifying. And when I'm seeing it as a kid, that's already like, what, 20 years after it's come out? Go back and watch it now. Ooh, that's rough. It's a rough one. You go back and you have a look at it now and you go, I was scared by this at some point. Okay, so I was a fucking idiot then. We're here already and we're talking about birds, okay? We're talking about birds. A British wildlife sanctuary. They didn't want to do it. They've been forced to. I actually don't know if they did or didn't want to do it. I don't think that that's liable. You know, I don't think anyone's going to come out and say, we did want to actually, and we don't appreciate that he said that we don't. A British wildlife sanctuary has been forced to separate 5 parrots who wouldn't stop swearing at visitors. So pretty standard. You go see the bird enclosure at the zoo. You think harmless fun. You know, nothing scary like the crocodiles or the tigers or the penguins, you know, even though they're small. They move weird. They move weird and they move untrustworthily. You know, you get it. You get it. Yeah, so you think, like, fuck it, let's take the kids to go see the parrots. And here are the fucking 5 potty-mouthed sailor parrots. Ex-pirate parrots. Keepers say the birds encouraged each other to keep cursing and had to be moved from the main outdoor aviary. So that's great. You know, when you were in school and they're like, look, we're going to have to break you two up. You two, you bloody bunch of chatty Cathys you two are. You won't stop talking and then you're egging each other on, right? You're disrupting the whole rest of the class. That's what these birds are doing. How are they encouraging each other to keep swearing? One of them's like, fuck. The other one's like, ho. Do it again. Do it again, but louder and twice. Fuck. See? Oh, then it snowballs. And then another one's like, my favorite one's piss. Oh, very good. Say it 4 times. Piss, fuck, piss. You know, and that's just 2 birds. Now imagine 5 all swearing at the same time. It's overload, you know. That might influence me to start swearing. You know, how often have you been in a room with 5 birds swearing? I don't know if it's going to, you know, sweep me up in that vortex. If I'm going to get lost in it, you know, cave to the peer pressure. We're all just sharing our favorite swears. One Weird Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Leave a comment. What's your favorite swear? Thank you. Billy, Eric, Tyson, Jade, and Elsie were removed from view this week, the Associated Press reports. They recently joined the Lincolnshire Wildlife Centre's colony of 200 African grey parrots in August and were put in quarantine together and quickly overwhelmed the staff with their naughty language. So they knew about it. They knew pre-putting them on display what they were in for, and they thought, guys, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Is it time to put Lincolnshire Wildlife Centre's colony of 200 African grey parrots on the map? We're quite used to parrots swearing, but we've never had 5 at the same time, the centre's chief executive, Steve Nichols, told AP. Most parrots clam up outside, but for some reason, these 5 relish it. So they knew. They know damn well. Look, these 5 fuckers, potty-mouthed. They're going to get out there and they're going to have a fucking field day with all the swears. But the added bonus is, maybe they're just fucking rampant swearers behind closed doors. I figure once we put them out in public, put them out in the aviary and they get in front of everyone, like most parrots, they're going to clam up. They're not going to find a like-minded, family communal bond and bolster each other's strengths of swearing. No, they're going to clam up. According to Nichols, none of the zoo's visitors complained about the parrots, and most found them amusing. When a parrot tells you to fuck off, it amuses people very highly, he said. It's brought a big smile to a really hard year. See? People love it. Even the CEO's like, I'll tell you what. There is nothing that gives me a zest for life. Oh, I feel like a lightning bolt hit my soul. First time a parrot told me to fuck off in public. Wow. Smile from ear to ear. And really, quite frankly, it sort of brought me back to reality and said, you know what? I needed this. It's been a tough year. I needed this bird to swear at me. Thank you. Thank you so much. Billy, Eric, Tyson, Jade, and Elsie, thank you so much, guys. Still, keepers thought it would be best to keep them away from children so not to ruffle any feathers. I hate to tar all the parents with the same brush, but seriously, I'm just going to say what we're all thinking. Kids ruin everything. They ruin everything. Lives, venues, events. No joke. Sam and I went to the Mount Cootha Botanical Gardens or Botanic Gardens, whatever that's called there, last weekend. And we went to the Japanese garden, which is amazing. And they have this like bonsai tree section, which is so fucking cool. There's one called it's a swamp something bonsai. And it straight up just looks like an old tree from a horror film, but miniature. Coolest fucking thing in the world. Anyway, so we're, just trying to mentally reset, getting back into nature. Didn't even plan that. And for the video viewer, we are in nature. Forgot the logo. There we go. Logo's on, guys. Logo's on. Just so you know. It's weird but wonderful. There you see the logo's on. Yeah, so we go to the Japanese garden. And it's, Japanese garden. It's beautiful. It's picturesque. It's serene. And we're walking around it. As you're getting closer to it, the serenity, the feeling of serenity is wavering a little bit because you hear children. The echoes of distant children screaming, squealing. And you go, that's fine. You're expecting parents and stuff to be here as well. Not saying kids can't be anywhere, just saying prefer if they weren't. And we get to the Japanese garden, big, water section in the middle. And there's a part where you have to cross these precarious sort of like rocks that there's water coming over them. It's part of the path you have to go around it. And that's just, there's a dad there just watching 9 children fuck up this whole like water cool pathway bit, and all these adults just like standing there queuing. This guy saying nothing to all of his kids, by the way, and they're just constantly playing back and forth while it's just a queue of adults waiting to just continue their trek around the fucking thing. Kids just sprinting around the whole fucking middle part. Ruined. Okay? There's a classic case of something being ruined by children. And then I shit you not, as we're walking up to where the bonsai tree section is, we pass a second Japanese garden that is specifically for children, And I, no word of a lie, it's empty. The entire Japanese garden, specifically for families and children, it says on it for children. It's the children's Japanese garden. Completely empty. Not a parent, not a child in sight. Where are all the kids and parents? Back at the regular one, fucking it up for everybody. So just a rant there. I've seen a lot of people lately, this sort of like pro and anti-kid sentiment. There was apparently some video about it having to do with late stage capitalism and the hyper individualization of people and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, for me personally, I just think, and this goes beyond kids, right? It's the silent social code of any spaces. When you go to certain spaces, there are sort of like unwritten social codes that we all know to abide by, right? You go to a cinema, you generally shut the fuck up, right? You're not sitting, you're not talking on a cell phone. You're not like texting. You're not talking to people. You shouldn't be fucking absolutely huffing down, chewing with an open mouth, because it's a quiet space. And when people, adult or child, breaks the unwritten social code of a space, that's when I think it fucks everyone off. That's when it ruffles some feathers, to bring it back to birds. Hey, that's just one guy's opinion. Let me know yours. Write it in the comments or email me, oneweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. Just silently deciding whether or not I should leave that in. I'm going to. It's how I feel. And fully willing to hear other people's perspectives and point of views, right? I'm not sold on my own point of view just because it's mine. But yeah, let me know what you think. So the keepers, they thought, hey, let's keep the awesome birds doing the fun stuff away from each other because we don't want to ruffle the feathers of any fucking kids and parents, ruin things. So they were separated and moved to various different areas of the wildlife centre, so they're unable to provoke each other. Although what I like to think is that by divvying them up, you're sort of spreading the virus that is the sweary parrots. And I hope that those 5 parrots then go on to influence the other parrots in their enclosures and create 5 sweary enclosures. That'd be great. Lincolnshire Wildlife Centre. What's better than 1 pack of sweary parrots? 5. Nicholas told BBC News that the parrots, quote, swear to trigger reactions or a response. So seeing people shocked or laughing only encourages the birds to curse more. Oh, little showboat. Little showboat birds, huh? Couple of showboaty birds. Isn't that such like a childlike thing as well? When like a kid does something that makes someone laugh, so they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. It's funny that these birds have the same trait. With 5, one would swear, another would laugh. Dude. With the 5, one would swear and another would laugh, and that would carry on. They're making dude, so they're not even, here I'm thinking they're doing it for the performance of the people, getting the reaction from the people. They're just out here making each other laugh. This is just a fun little inside goof for them. And they're like, oh, other people are paying attention to this? We didn't even notice. I'm Billy, just trying to make Tyson laugh. Tyson's having a giggle. Jade heard him. Jade's jumping in with some swears now. I'm hoping they learn different words within colonies. Let's try and broaden their vocabulary. That's the problem. They're very limited to swears. But if they teach the others bad language and I end up with 250 swearing birds, I don't know what we'll do. I know what you'll do. You'll have created the world's most popular bird sanctuary. Headline reads, world's highest revenue grossing wildlife centre. That's what'll happen. Swearing parrots are not the wildlife centre's only famous bird. Last month, a parrot at the zoo named Chico went viral for singing Beyonce's If I Were a Boy. Okay, something sus about this fucking zoo now. Something sus going on. All these little performer birds all in one place. This is like the arts college for fucking zoos. And I don't know if you've picked up on the theme or the trend here. You probably have, because it was, I would imagine, I don't have a title for this episode yet, but I'd imagine the title was a bit of a giveaway that it was going to be fairly animal centric. But I just thought it was important for people to know about the strange noises that are keeping up, the Floridians in Tampa at night. And the thrumming is so loud that at times it sends tremors through their homes. These are bass mating sounds. Bass, the fish, the mating sounds are so, these fucking bass are so horned up and they're so randy rowdy that their juiced up horn sounds are like vibrating homes. Now, a local scientist has come up with one possible explanation for the disruption. Mating fish. Spoiled it there, didn't I? I'm sitting here talking about, I gave it all the way before the next line was him doing a little, and you'll never believe what it is. Curtain reveal, mating fish. You already know, James said it. James said it 2 seconds ago and he ruined it for us. Sorry about that, guys. So it's my bad. As it turns out, residents might be eavesdropping on black drumfish as they reproduce, reports Fox 13's Jordan Bowen. The animals can produce low-frequency drumming sounds by flexing their muscles against their swim bladder. You hear that? You like what you hear? That's just me flexing my muscles on some swimming bladders. Oh, that sound? You like that, do you? Get you pretty horned up? It's just me flexing my swimming bladder. No big deal. Black drumfish tend to mate and fill the sea with their amorous racket on winter nights, which might explain the uptick in noise residents hear around this time. Popular among anglers, black drumfish, Pagonius chromis, can grow more than 5.5 feet long. They have large grey or black scales and barbels protruding from their lower jaws, and they chow down on fish, shellfish, crabs, shrimp, mussels, and various invertebrates with their powerful teeth. The bottom dwellers typically inhabit lagoons, river mouths, and bays, though they also live offshore. Tampa's mysterious sounds date back to at least 2021. Since then, residents have come up with a variety of theories for a persistent hum. Maybe it stems from a nearby Air Force base. Of course, that's the most American thing ever. It's Area 51 doing their Skyharp tests on us. Or maybe a party boat has been blasting a bass beat with impressive speakers. They also wondered if construction operations were to blame. Over time, however, community members got so fed up with the incessant thrumming that they decided to do something about it. South Tampa resident Sarah Healy is now leading the charge to figure out where the sounds are coming from. She's raising money on GoFundMe to support an investigation led by scientist James Locascio, the program manager for fisheries, habitat ecology, and acoustics at Moat Marine Laboratory and Aquarium in Sarasota, Florida. Let's check out this GoFundMe. All about the bass or bass solving Tampa's mystery sound. They have 119 donations. They have a goal of $5,500. They've only raised $265. So their project is basically to put some recorders underwater and start collecting sounds. Recorders will be hosted by residents who'll keep journals noting their experience with the mysterious... Place 2 to 3 recorders to begin collecting underwater data. Recorders will be hosted by residents who will keep journals noting their experiences with the mysterious noise. Phase 1 fundraising goal, $2,500. $2,500 for a bunch of people to put sound recorders underwater and journal it. I don't know if that should have cost that much money, but hey, I'm no scientist. I'm no Floridian and I'm no scientist. Once recorders are in place, we'll initiate phase 2, evaluate other potential sources of the noise, clubs, party boats, industry, community events like concerts, parades or rallies, and more. Annotate their operating hours, dates, times, and record decibel levels when possible. Collect and plot reports of residents' experiences regarding the mysterious noise. So that against the timeline of like 10:52 p.m. Local parade ran through town. Something to do with the gays, I think. Lots of rainbow usage. Just Pride Parade coming through. Collect and report residents' experiences of the mystery noise. Heard mystery noise again. Personal note, not very happy. My personal experience, not entirely pleased. After recorders have been in place for at least 2 weeks, but possibly as many as 8 weeks, we'll move to phase 3. Retrieve the recorders and analyze the data. These recorders have been underwater recording for weeks. Who is analyzing weeks of audio data? I'm assuming they'll just put it on the timeline, and then whenever they see spikes, they'll just zoom into that. Probably a lot more straightforward than I'm making it out to be. Phase 4, delivery of the results of the investigation. Also, just having a look at the audio peaks, that's going to cost $2,000 for sure. Phase 4, delivery of the results of the investigation and conclusions to be disclosed. Phase 4, fundraising goal to be disclosed. Okay. I don't know how great that one's going to pan out, but now that residents have raised enough cash, $2,500 to start, Lucasio has agreed to place microphones underwater for 2 months to see what he can find. The group met its fundraising goal earlier this week, and Lucasio is now searching for potential sites to install the recorders. So they're just like fucking... See what I mean? People are just making it up. They're just making it up as they go along. Lucasio is the leading proponent of the black drumfish theory, based on past research he conducted for his dissertation nearly 2 decades ago in Southwest Florida. Guys, I've been here before. I've seen this issue once. 20 years ago. We thought we heard rumbling fucking swimmy pouches getting all muscled. Turns out we were right. It's the beginning of like a really like C-grade horror movie. You know, like what's that Piranha movie? Piranhas 3D. Great title. Again, it's got everything you need. They used to call it the Punta Gorda Growl in the 1970s, he tells WFTS Eric Waxler. So down there, it's been going on or known about for a long time. It's unusual for underwater sounds to travel through the air, but the black drumfish noises can be making their way to people's homes via tunnels or the ground, reports the Washington Post's Carl Melnick. It's also possible the black drumfish population in Tampa Bay has ballooned recently for some unknown reason. It's a low-frequency sound, so they travel much better and go further distances, and they go through dissimilar media more efficiently. It turns out that the fish are to blame for all the sleepless nights. Residents will likely have little choice but to don earplugs, hunker down, and wait out the rest of the mating season. Well, it's nature, Healy says to the Washington Post. There's nothing to be done except for collect thousands of dollars, put recorders underwater, and make some fucking cash off of people thinking that you're solving a problem. That's an interesting problem to face though, because like when you move into certain places, you know, it might be like, oh, you know, during the summer we get you drain flies or whatever, or oh, you know, during the winter there's like, you know, this problem. These people are just like, yeah, well, it's mating season again. Get out the noise canceling headphones. It's going to be a rough couple months of humming and fucking. I don't know why I looked at you when I said that. I looked right at the camera when I said that. Haunting. And our final one here. Most primate societies have long been assumed to be male-dominated, but a new study shows many have females in charge or feature power sharing. I think I talked about this briefly in passing last week, but female lemurs call the shots in their societies. Not only do dominant females choose their own mates, they also use prompts such as tail and fur pulling or the occasional nip with both males and females to dictate which other females in the group can mate. Okay. Oh, am I going to get bitten today? God, I hope I get bitten today so I can fuck. Primatologists have long categorized the world's 108 lemur species as a female-ruled outlier group among primates, with the vast majority of other primate societies thought to be male-dominated. But a recent study in animals calls this assumption into question. Though male power is more common among overall primate species, it's by no means the default social dynamic. In fact, in 42% of the species examined in the study, primates lived in groups in which females were either dominant or on another level playing field with males. The traditional old school thinking in primatology has always been around male dominance, but this study allows us to rethink that, says Aaron Vogel, primatologist at Rutgers University, who was not involved in the new research. The study's author used statistical modelling to examine dominance and the factors that might contribute to it in the 79 living primate species. These factors included sexual dimorphism, differences between males and females in their body size and other physical characteristics, the number of females in each group that went into heat simultaneously, the length of time in which those animals were in heat, and the female to male ratio within each group. The study found that dominance didn't correspond to how close species were evolutionarily or geographically, but it did correlate with a predictable set of features, including whether males were larger than females or whether males' canine teeth were bigger. In species where the females and males had similar body or canine size, females either dominated or shared power equally with males. Bonobos and chimpanzees, the two primates most genetically similar to humans, provide a clear example of how size can affect dominance, says the new study's lead author Rebecca J. Lewis, a biological anthropologist at the University of Texas at Austin. Male chimpanzees are larger than females and are known for violently attacking females that they hope to mate with. Okay, don't know how keen I'm going to be after you've attacked me. Gonna say, that'd probably put me off a little bit. Yeah, I know that you're like super horned up or whatever, but like 2 minutes ago where you tried to beat the shit out of me, that really dehorned the situation for me, if I'm honest. So I'm just gonna, I'm probably just gonna go home. I'm a bit tired anyway. Maybe tomorrow we could probably just try having a chat or something instead of you trying to beat 7 shades of shit out of me. To fuck. It's just like a really weird way to go about it. Just a really, really uncomfortable way to go about it. Food for thought, some things to think about. We'll regroup tomorrow and we'll try and have a chat about this. But yeah, for me now personally, just not feeling it today anymore. Yeah, because of the you trying to beat me up thing. Yeah, just gonna go now. Female bonobos, on the other hand, are similar in size to males and establish tight bonds with their female counterparts, an arrangement that shuts out males and leads to female dominant societies. The power dynamic shifts between chimpanzees and bonobos as a result of size, Lewis says. So far we're learning that if you can beat someone up, they do seem to go that route. Do I have bigger teeth? Do I have stronger muscles? Yes. Then I don't need to listen to you because I'll bite you and beat you up. Seems to sort of be how they rule. White-cheeked gibbons, medium-sized monkeys that are native to Southeast Asia, are an example of co-dominance. Similar size and stature mean that the sexes seem to share overall power but dominate different social areas. Males show signs of territorial dominance, protecting their mates and offspring, and females are more likely to control food acquisition. More subtle factors can also influence power dynamics. For example, if a group has more females, males tend to dominate because they have a wider choice of mates. When the sex ratio changes towards more females within a group of Sifaka lemurs, males are less likely to make submissive vocalizations because the more females there are, the more those females' power is reduced, Lewis says. Power is also concentrated in females of species that go into heat for a relatively short time period or that don't go into heat as a group. In both cases, males have more limited ability to mate with females at any given time, shifting the power dynamic towards females. So it's very, there are clear delineations here between like who has power. I don't really want to fuck that much. And when I do, it's for a really short period of time. They hold the power. Oh, tons of people to choose from, so looks like I can fuck whoever I want. They've got power. I've got big old canines and strong boy muscles, so I guess I'm in power. The new study also peered back in time, examining fossils for any physical indications of dominance patterns in the last common ancestor of all primates. Using a method called ancestral state reconstruction, the researchers looked at canine tooth size and estimated body size based on the fossils of 8 different extinct primates, distinct ancestors of modern species. While patterns of intersexual dominance don't fossilize, indicators of dominance do, says the study co-author Christopher Kirk. He says the team found patterns that would correspond with a variety of intersexual power relationships. So defining the dominant status of our last common ancestor could go either way. This challenges common assumptions about the evolutionary inevitability of male dominance, the authors wrote in the study. Vogel says combining data on living and extinct primate species was creative and restructures the way we think about primate societies, showing us that females do have a lot of control, especially in choosing their mate. She adds that we really shouldn't be shocked that male versus female power is much more nuanced than we previously thought, but still, somehow we are. There you go, you heard it here first. Dudes, if you're looking to attract the ladies, sharpen up those canines, bust out the guns, and make sure that there are less dudes around to have sex with, I think are sort of like the key takeaways there for the guys. Those are just some of the sort of the important qualities that, I know I will be taking on board and be thinking about quite a lot. So, hopefully that gives you a lot of value as well. It's all about value now and your media providing value. So hopefully there's a lot of, there's a lot of key takeaways from this and a lot of value that you can translate directly from this and into your personal life. So you're welcome, I guess. And this is where the value ends, unfortunately. But thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I do very much appreciate it. I know you've got you've got a billion things competing for your time and attention. And I sincerely do want to thank you for spending some of that time here with me. It really does mean a lot. But if you have any weird, wonderful news snippets, stories, findings you'd like to send, oneweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know about those or the DMs and all that stuff on the socials at One Weird Podcast, Instagram and TikTok. You can find me, my personal socials at My Pixel Persona. Subscribe to the YouTube. Get yourself the video version of the show each week. YouTube.com/@WeirdButWonderful. Chuck a rating review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Helps people like you find the show. Helps grow this thing that we're doing here. You won't know this by the time this episode comes out, but this is being recorded on Friday the 16th. Tonight we are doing a public domain movie night. And I'm hoping to do maybe one a month, might be pushing it to get, the gang together to do these streams. But definitely doing one tonight, obviously. We'll be doing more in the future. So follow along on the socials, mainly One Weird Podcast on Instagram. I post them up on the stories there whenever we're going to be doing these public domain movie nights. But yep, tonight, City of the Dead. It's about witches in a town, and it should be fun. So keep an eye out for those. I'm excited for that. They'll be happening at Twitch TV /@MyPixelPersona and on the YouTube, youtube.com/@WeirdButWonderful. But again, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I appreciate ya. Have a safe week/weekend. I'll see you next time. Peace.